As you'll probably know from watching the show, I grew up in rural Zimbabwe where surfing was not something we did a huge amount of, and although I went to university here in Cape Town, getting out on the waves never really became part of my go-to activity. But occasionally I've done some surfing. In fact, we've done it on the show once before, and I'm back on the waves today with Caleb Swanepoel, an adaptive surfer who's going to the World Championships in San Diego later this year, and the great Nik Rabinowitz, comedian extraordinaire, and he tells me, one of South Africa's finest amateur surfers. So a few seasons back, I spent some time in the nets up in Johannesburg with Eddie Lee, the Lions leggy, and a guy I still think is the greatest leg spinning all-rounder never to play for South Africa. But Nik Rabinowitz, it seems that your sporting ability know no bounds, because not only are you this great cricketer, but I've seen many an Instagram post of you effortlessly Kelly Slater-like riding 25-foot waves into the beach here at Muizenberg.
Well, yeah, Dan, I'm not going to dispute that version of history. But yeah, of course, Muizenberg today, what would you estimate the wave size today?
15 feet, maybe 20.
15 feet barreling overhead.
Why surfing? What's the allure?
I started when I was 30, and I think it was because I just had one of these children that you can't see on screen right now, and I needed to desperately to escape into nature. You just don't want to go out with an Afrikaans guy, because they'll look at you and go, hi, when you get to the back line. And then you're like, ah. But if you don't understand Afrikaans like you, you'll be chilled.
All right, well, you go and suit up, and we'll check out Nik Rabinowitz, the surfer.
Yeah.
So I'm not just hitting the water with Nik Rabinowitz, I'm also hitting the water with Caleb Swanepoel. Lovely to have you.
Thank you.
Tell me the origins, Caleb Swanepoel. You find yourself in adaptive surfing. What happened to get you there?
I was in Shark Attack in 2015. Everyone thinks, Shark Attack, you were a surfer before. That's not the case. I was actually body surfing with my brothers at Buffalo Bay in Nicholl, and we were about 70, 80 meters out. We were on a beach holiday. It was beautiful conditions. We had dolphin sightings the whole week, so not Shark Attack conditions, and there just happened to be a great ride in the water. Took my whole right leg off above the knee. I had a completely out-of-body experience. Didn't think I was going to make it out of the water. And my brother actually pulled me out and saved my life. So that was my, I suppose, traumatic entrance into water sports. And from there, it was just kind of an amazing adventure, like getting into parasport. I started swimming, part of my rehab. And then someone invited me to the first ever South African Para-Adaptive Champs, which I won. I was on a 9-foot board. It was the first time I was surfing. I was wearing my normal walking prosthetic. It was very, very awkward, but lots of fun. And I think ever since then, I just have fallen in love with the water and surfing.
Most people's immediate reaction would be, your leg got taken by a shark. The last thing you ever want to do is get back in the sea. How difficult was it to get out there and take up surfing, given what had happened to you?
3 weeks after my shark attack, my stitches were out. I went back into the ocean. And I think
3 weeks.
I did that because, I had a lot of support from family and friends and other shark attack survivors. There are a few of us out there. They just wrote to me and said, you need to adapt the survivor mentality and not a victim mentality, and get back into the ocean if you can, because you want to push back against any of that fear that's going to build up. And I think that's why I decided to just go back in.
We've seen surfing as therapy on this show before with Waves for Change, a project Amazing. You know well. Yes. They do terrific work. But beyond the therapy, it does seem like it's something you just really love doing.
It's not just only an opportunity to have fun, but also an opportunity to show other people, just because you have a disability or you're differently able, it doesn't mean that you can't still do something and still engage with other people and be a quote-unquote normal human being,
And you're doing this at quite a level, because the build-up to the end of the year is rather exciting.
Very exciting.
You're off to California.
Obviously, I never thought I'd have the opportunity to represent South Africa. It's really just an opportunity to meet other surfers, to engage with the parasurfing community, but also compete and set a new goal and actually compete at a professional level. And I think, it's an unbelievable experience and opportunity, so I'm so excited.
I can see that. If people want to support you, want to help out the South African adaptive surfing team to get over to San Diego, what do they do?
So you can just check me out on social. Caleb Swanepoel on Instagram. You see I've got a link there. I'm working with Match Kits. They've been unbelievable just in terms of building a sport profile for me and some of the other athletes, and just getting some exposure. So if anyone wants to support, they can just share the link if they have the means to donate. But otherwise, just spread the awareness, share what we're doing and get involved.
He's clearly not just very enthusiastic about what he does, but pretty good if he's going to the World Championships. How good, though? Well, let's find out. Nik Rabinowitz is suited up. We're about to hit the water with a comedian and with a guy who fought off a shark to join us on the show today. What's the key difference for you surfing now as opposed to if you had been surfing with both legs?
So I think the biggest thing is just that I surf quite front-footed. Because I don't have my knee joints on the back, I use my surfing prosthetic almost to balance. So when I pop up on a wave, a lot of surfing depends a lot on the back leg because you drive from your back foot. So my challenge is dropping my hip, being able to get a little bit of weight into the back of the board, and then being able to maneuver. So it's a bit of a balancing act. You're balancing on the board, but you're also trying to balance and get a bit of movement.
I'm going to try and surf. I'm not very good at it, but I'm feeling inspired by these two. So let's go surfing. So, things I've learned at Muizenberg today. Next time I come surfing, wear a wetsuit. It's chilly out there. Surfing's great fun. I didn't stand up, but I did ride a couple of waves. And Caleb Swanepoel is a very inspiring young man. He's off to San Diego at the end of the year. Support him and the South African adaptive surfing team come December. That's, of course, if he and Nik Rabinowitz have finished surfing by then.